You grow up in Central California. Your father fixed trucks and drank. Not violent, just gone. Same recliner every night. TV volume maxed out like he was trying to disappear into the noise. Your mother worked a hardware store register until her back quit. You drop out at 17 because algebra doesn't keep the lights on. You get a job at a salvage yard pulling parts off dead cars. You're good with engines. You can hear what's wrong with a motor the way a musician hears a flat note. Nobody cares about that skill. Not yet. Ratchet walks into the yard when you're 22. He's got a 98 Harley Softail with a timing chain eating itself. Leather vest, gray beard, patches. You fix it in 4 hours. He comes back the next week. Then the next. Fourth visit, no bike. Just a six-pack. He sits on a crate and talks to you like you matter. Asks if you've ever ridden. You haven't. He brings a beat-up Sportster the following Saturday. Within a month, you're at the clubhouse on weekends. Converted warehouse, dirt road. Bar, pool table, a row of Harleys parked like they own the place. Men in leather, music you feel in your chest. First time a room full of people looks glad you showed up. That feeling is the product they're selling. Prospecting is 12 months of being nothing. You clean the clubhouse, toilets, ashtrays, floors. You stand at the door during parties, sober, 8 hours straight. You ride at the back of every formation, eating exhaust. A member named Kubal sends you on a 2-hour drive to pick up a pizza. You bring it back cold. He throws it away. The test isn't the pizza. It's whether you'll go. You go. They vote you in on a Thursday. Ratchet hands you the vest. Death head patch, bottom rocker, MC tag. 2 pounds of leather that feels heavier than it should. There's a party. People buy you drinks. Ratchet pulls you aside. This patch means every man here would go to prison before giving up your name. It sounds like a promise. It's also a price tag. For 2 years, it's good. Weekend rides through the valley, 50 bikes deep. Barbecues where everyone's kids run around together. Christmas parties where guys who look like they'd rob a bank dress up as Santa. They set you up with a garage, real tools, a lift, your name on a sign. Every bike in the chapter comes through your hands. You have a seat that's always saved. You're useful and you belong. You think those are the same thing. The garage is real. What fun's it isn't? You notice in pieces. A saddlebag too heavy for clothes. A sealed box in your back room. Hold it, don't open it. Someone picks it up Tuesday. Cash payments that don't match any service. You choose not to ask. Then Deacon, the chapter president, sits you down. Calm, friendly, talks like a regional manager. The club has business interests. Meth moving through 3 counties. Protection on a string of bars. Gun sales, small scale. Your garage will process some cash. Not a lot. Just enough to need invoices. He asks if you're comfortable. The question is decorative. Deacon runs the chapter like a company. Brotherhood is the brand. Revenue is the product. He tracks earnings by territory. Holds monthly meetings with agendas. Talks about market share without irony. The old members who joined because they loved riding are getting pushed aside. Ratchet complains one night. Says the club used to mean something different. Deacon hears about it. Ratchet loses his collection route, the one he's had for 12 years, and gets reassigned to maintenance. He's sweeping the clubhouse at 58. He doesn't complain again. A member named Dice gets arrested. Distribution charge. Caught with enough meth to qualify for federal time. The club's rule is simple. You go down, we take care of your family. Commissary money, mortgage payments, lawyers. Dice has a wife and a 9-year-old son. First 3 months, Deacon sends money like clockwork. Month 4, it drops. Month 6, it stops. Dice's wife calls the clubhouse. Nobody picks up. You ask Deacon about it. He says Dice knew the risks. The club has expenses. Resources are allocated based on operational value, and Dice isn't operational anymore. That's the sentence that rewrites everything you thought the patch meant. You start sending Dice's wife $500 a month from your own cut. You don't tell anyone. It's not charity, It's insurance. Because if it happens to you, you want to believe someone would do the same. You're probably wrong about that. You marry Marie. She bartends at a place the club protects, grew up around bikers, knows the business behind the patches. For a while it works. Then the 2 a.m. calls start. Then the cash in the closet she can't ask about. Then a member walks through your kitchen at midnight with blood on his jacket. She doesn't say anything. The silence between you develops a weight. There's one ride you'll never forget. Annual run to the coast. 63 bikes on a 2-lane highway through redwood country. The sound is a wall of thunder that scatters birds from trees a quarter-mile ahead. You ride in the middle of the pack. The air smells like pine and exhaust. Nobody's talking about money or territory or who owes what. It's just speed and sound and the road pulling you forward. Ratchet rides next to you. He's grinning under his helmet like a kid. For about 2 hours, the club is exactly what it promised to be. Men on bikes with nowhere to be except the next curve. You stop at a diner overlooking the Pacific. Everyone eats burgers and talks garbage and watches the sun go down. It's the closest thing to peace you've felt since you patched in. You hold onto that memory the way a drowning man holds onto a piece of wood. Because everything after this ride gets worse. The Mongols push into your county, selling in your bars, recruiting on your turf. Deacon handles it with meetings first. They last about a week. Then a member's bike gets torched. A bar owner's windows get smashed. One of your guys takes a knife in a Denny's parking lot. You're not pulling triggers. You're fixing the bikes they ride to do it. You're washing the cash that funds it. Your hands are technically clean. Your first real job comes on a Tuesday night. Not the cash processing, not the holding packages. A bar owner 3 towns over has been paying the Mongols instead of your club. Deacon wants a correction. You go with cue ball and 2 others. The bar is closed. You pick the back door lock, a skill you learned at the salvage yard, not the club. Inside, cue ball finds the safe. You're the lookout. Nothing happens. No confrontation, no violence. You take $14,000 and leave a playing card on the bar. The death head drawn in Sharpie. The owner will understand. You drive home. Your cut is $2,000. It takes 11 minutes to earn. Your garage makes that in a good week. You tell yourself you just stood by a door. You didn't take anything. You didn't hurt anyone. The rationalizing gets easier every time, and that's the part that should worry you. You ride with Twist to visit a dealer who's been shorting the club. Twist doesn't raise his voice. He breaks the man's hand with a ball-peen hammer like he's tapping out a dent. On the ride back, he talks about his daughter's soccer game. The distance between those 2 things doesn't register on his face. It registers on yours. Marie packs a suitcase on a Wednesday while you're at the garage. Note on the table. She loves who you were. Can't watch who you're becoming. Don't call. Your mother calls you 3 days after Marie leaves. She's heard something. Small town. Marie's friend told someone who told someone. Your mother asks you one question. Are you in trouble? You say no. She's quiet for a long time. Then she says, your father wasn't a bad man. He just couldn't stop choosing the wrong things. I watched it happen so slowly, I didn't notice until he was gone. She hangs up. You stand in your kitchen holding the phone. It's the worst thing anyone's ever said to you. Not because it's cruel, because it's accurate. The feds start showing up in the margins. Unfamiliar car near the clubhouse, 3 days running. A new garage customer who asks questions about your schedule. A member gets popped on a minor charge, makes bail in 2 hours. Someone's cooperating. Deacon feels it too. Meetings move to parking lots. Phones rotate weekly. You do the math one night at the garage. You've been a member for 6 years. In that time, you've processed roughly $800,000 in dirty cash through fake invoices. You've been present during 3 assaults. You've held stolen property. You've lied to federal investigators once during a routine stop. Any single one of those is a felony. Combined, under RICO, it's decades. Your entire adult life reduced to a sentencing chart. The patch on your back isn't just leather, it's a confession you wear in public. Every mile you ride wearing it is another frame of surveillance footage some prosecutor is collecting in a filing cabinet. You've built a life that looks like freedom, open road, brotherhood, your name on a garage. And every piece of it is evidence. 2 agents find you at a gas station. They know your name, your invoices, your bank records. RICO case in progress. You're on the list. They offer cooperation for immunity. They hand you a card. 1 week. You don't call. You go to Deacon and tell him you're done. Not cooperating. Just leaving. He's quiet for a while. Then he nods. Conditions. You leave the patch, the garage, the state. No contact with members. No contact with law enforcement. If your name shows up in any filing, the arrangement ends. He doesn't define what that means. You hand Ratchet the vest. He holds it for a second. Doesn't argue. Ride safe, kid. You load your tools into a truck and drive until California is in the mirror. Ratchet calls you once, 3 months after you leave. Burner phone. He sounds tired. He says the feds took down 11 members. Deacon cooperated. Traded names for a reduced sentence. The man who ran Brotherhood like a corporation sold the corporation to save himself. Cue-Ball got 8 years. Twist got 12. The clubhouse got seized. Ratchet wasn't charged. He's too old and too far removed from operations to matter. He says he's selling his Harley, buying a fishing boat, moving to Oregon. The club died before the feds killed it, he says. Died the day it stopped being about the ride. You don't talk again after that. You don't try. You land in a small town in Nevada. Open a repair shop. Lawnmowers, weed trimmers, boat engines. Quiet work that pays enough. You rent a place above a laundromat. The machines at night vibrate like an idling Harley. You eat alone, not because you want to, because you've forgotten how to connect with people outside a hierarchy. A woman at the hardware store asks you to fix her lawnmower. You do. She brings you coffee the next day. You talk for 10 minutes. She's divorced, has a kid, works in billing at the county hospital. Normal. Entirely normal. She asks if you want to get dinner sometime. You say yes. At the restaurant, she asks what you did before Nevada. You say you were a mechanic in California. She asks why you moved. You say you needed a change. She accepts it. Over dinner, you notice yourself scanning the exits, counting the people at the bar, tracking the waitress's movement pattern. Old software running on new hardware. She notices you're distracted. You apologize. Second date goes better. Third date, she sees a scar on your forearm from a wrench slip, actually from a bar fight in Fresno, and asks about it. You lie. She believes it. You realize that every relationship you'll ever have from now on starts with a lie and has a ceiling built into it. You can get close, just not all the way. Some nights you hear bikes on the highway. You know the sound. Always could. The rumble builds, peaks, fades. Something tightens in your chest. You stand in the doorway of your shop, hands smelling like motor oil, and listen until it's gone. The club doesn't run on crime. Crime is just the business model. The club runs on loneliness. Every recruit is a guy who ate alone until someone said, "You're one of us." That's the product. Belonging. The price is everything else. There's no retirement, no alumni dinner. Just a small shop in a town no one visits, and a sound on the highway that used to mean home. That's a wrap. The story is fiction, but somewhere right now, a kid on a cheap bike is riding next to a column of Harleys, feeling something click into place for the first time. If this made you think, drop a comment, subscribe for more. See you in the next one.